Reasonable Accommodations for Michigan Homeowners, Fair Housing Act Rights 2026 update. If you own your home or find your perfect dream home, but it isn't exactly what you need for your family's needs, there is this law called Reasonable Accommodations. This is Peggy Leiby from KW Living in Brighton, and I want to inform you of this law. In Michigan, if your home needs a ramp, an addition, or any change so a family member with a disability can live with you, you have legal rights most homeowners have never heard explained correctly. The two laws protect you. The Federal Fair Housing Act and Michigan's own Persons with Disability Civil Rights Act. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. These rights don't just apply to landlords, they apply to your own home or a new home at the city or township level when a zoning rule gets in the way of a change your family needs. In the next few minutes, the actual law, what it means for homeowners specifically, and exactly how to use it if a zoning rule is standing between you and a modification your family needs will be explained. The two laws that protect us. Law 1, Federal Law. The Federal Housing Act, found at Title 42 of the United States Code Sections 3601 through 3619, prohibits housing discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, and disability. The statute uses the word handicap, but legally that means the same as disability. Law 2, Michigan Law. The Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act, Public Act 220 of 1976, protects people with disabilities in housing, employment, education, and public services. Michigan's language is very powerful. Section 102 of the Act declares that the opportunity to obtain housing without discrimination because of a disability is guaranteed by this Act and is a civil right. The Act says a person shall accommodate a person with a disability for purposes of housing unless doing so would impose an undue hardship. In law, shall means must. Federal enforcement runs through HUD and the Department of Justice. State enforcement runs through the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, the MDCR. What this means for your own home or home you want to buy. Here's the homeowner scenario this law was built for. You want to add a ramp, widen a doorway, build an addition, or build a deck so a family member or a parent with a disability can live with you, but the project runs into local zoning rules. Maybe a setback requirement says structures have to sit a certain distance from the property line, and a ramp or addition would cross that line. In Michigan, you can request a reasonable accommodation for your city or township zoning rules, setback relief, or a variance through your local zoning board of appeals because the change is necessary for a person with a disability to fully live in and enjoy the home. Under the Fair Housing Act, local governments have to consider these disability-related requests, and they cannot deny them based on the disability itself or on fear, speculation, or stereotypes about people with disabilities. One key requirement carries through everything in this video. There has to be an identifiable relationship between the accommodation and the disability. It has to be necessary because of the disability, not just a preference. So how to actually request it? An honest word first. This is a real law. It's not a rubber stamp. You still go through your municipality's normal permit and variance process, which costs money. Every place it costs differently. So find that out also. The municipality can deny a request that would impose an undue burden or fundamentally alter its zoning scheme. What it cannot do is treat your disability-related request worse than any other request or ignore the accommodation analysis entirely. Here's the practical steps. Start at your city or township hall. Ask for the building or zoning department. Put your request in writing and use these magic words. I am requesting a reasonable accommodation under the Fair Housing Act and Michigan's Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act. Explain the connection, how the addition, the ramp, or setback relief is necessary because of the disability. Keep copies of everything and note every date, time, and the person you spoke with, their name. Even if a request could lawfully be denied, say no disability related need is shown or it would cause a general undue hardship, the law still expects an interactive process, a real conversation about whether an alternative could meet the need. A flat no with no discussion is a definite red flag. If your request is wrongfully denied, then do this. You have several paths and several deadlines, so pay attention to that as well. Michigan Department of Civil Rights file within 180 days of the discriminatory act. Call 1-800-482-3604 or file online at michigan.gov/MDCR. HUD, file within 1 year. Call 1-800-669-9777 or file at HUD.com. HUD investigates at no cost to you. You can also go to court. And this is only if there was no real conversation or it was turned down for reasons that you just don't understand. So you can go to court, file within 2 years, and under Michigan law, you can go directly to the state court without filing with the MDCR first. Michigan also has a network of nonprofit fair housing centers that will help you for free, including the Fair Housing Center of Metropolitan Detroit, the Fair Housing Center of Southeast and Mid-Michigan, the Fair Housing Center of West Michigan, and others covering the whole state, plus Disability Rights Michigan. Notice the state deadline is the shortest, 180 days, so don't sit on it. Between the Federal Fair Housing Act and Michigan's Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act, Michigan homeowners have two powerful laws of protection when a zoning rule stands between your family and a change you need at home. Be aware, folks, I am not an attorney. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not legal advice. Consult a fair housing attorney, the MDCR, or your local fair housing center. And I'm going to say this quick disclaimer, I am not your lawyer and the video is educational only. It is not legal advice. Every city and township applies its zoning process a little differently, so for your specific situation, talk to a fair housing attorney, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, or your local fair housing center. If this helped you, share it with a Michigan homeowner who needs it, and either subscribe or follow me on Facebook, Instagram, any of them, any social media. This is Peggy at KW Living in Brighton, 734-260-4032. Have a wonderful day and find your joy.